Anyone at YouTube, and welcome back to a new video with Rams Fan YT. It's one of the games in the FA Cup first round today, as we're looking at Eastleigh at home, looking to cause an upset up against the current team at the top of League Two in Walsall. It should be a very interesting one. We've seen a few EFL Cup upsets, not EFL Cup, sorry, FA Cup upsets already so far this campaign. Most notably, maybe Gateshead versus Wimbledon, or Brackley Town versus Notts County were both yesterday. Hempstead took Wigan to penalties, only to unfortunately fall short. In terms of earlier on today, Shrewsbury did knock out South Shields by 3-1. We're going to go through the lineups before we kick off. We've got a 5-4-1 for Eastleigh, which is a very defensive formation. They've got Nick Townsend in goal, a very dependable pair of hands. On the far left, you've got Archie Harris. You've got the midfield three of Temitoco Uika, Aaron Pierre, Lloyd Humphreys, who had an absolute standout performance in his last game against Morecambe, where Eastleigh were 2-1 winners, and he scored a goal and had an absolute fabulous performance. Richard Brinley makes up on the right back. Midfield four, and in the left midfield, we got Jake Vokins. We got a midfield two of Josh Lundstrom, who is arguably one of their better known players. Obviously been around in the EFL for a bit as well. You've got Jordan Cousins, also who's club captain for Eastleigh, and I think many of you will probably be familiar with Jordan Cousins. I certainly am. He's been around a while now, the midfielder, but he's sort of Charlton Athletic was where he started in 2012-16. Fairly prolific throughout the EFL for the last few years, and now he's finding himself in the National League, where he is actually due to be he only joined over the summer, and the right midfielder is Harvey Saunders, who scored one of Eastleigh's goals to get them through to this point against Hampton and Richmond Borough. And their singular striker front is Kieran McGuckin. Walsall lining up in a 3-5-2. The goalkeeper are Miles Roberts. The back three of Rico Brown. Aidan Flint is the club captain, and hugely experienced, mainly known for his time at Cardiff. I think Derby were after him at one point. And on the left, they got Evan Weir. The midfield five, you've got Connor Barrett on the right midfield. You've got Charlie Lakin, who was at Burton at one point, at number 8. You've got Brandon Comley, dictating play in the middle of the field. You've got Courtney Clark, another household name, been around for a while. And then on the left, you have got Vincent Harper. Front two of Daniel Canoe, who was very poor in the last game, and Aaron Presley. They're your two lineups in this one. Let me know, do you think it's going to be an upset? Do you think Walsall will avoid it? Do let me know. I think, for me personally, I think it might be a very tight game. Walsall edging it, maybe in extra time or on penalties. But yes, that's the teams are now walking out. It'll be one of the big days for Eastleigh. I don't think it's quite a sellout, but it is looking fairly populated. A lot of good fans, as ever, all in good spirit and voice at the start of this game. I definitely think they could have packed out a fair few more, but I think because of segregation, maybe not. I don't know. But I certainly think TV isn't necessarily helping their causes too much. It'll give them more income, but in terms of attendance-wise, maybe a slight dampener. I'm not sure what their official capacity is. Interestingly, that they've put on the BBC one that it's going to be a 4-2-3-1 for Eastleigh as opposed to a 5-4-1. So that's a very different manager. Scott Bartlett keeping us guessing because that's a very different lineup, I suppose, to what you would expect. There's some Jamaican internationals in here as well. Aaron Pierre. Matt Sadler's team is, well, Walsall I don't think have really been that good in the FA Cup before. Well, Vincent Harper actually did play for Eastleigh at one point, interestingly. Made over 70 appearances, 2 seasons here. So that he's certainly one who'll be looking to prove a point. Daniel Kanu is on a loan. Albert Adoma is actually on the bench for the Saddlers. A Middlesbrough legend. I'm sure everyone is familiar with them. A lot of experience, I think, on the bench as well. You need that expertise to sort of, I think, edge this out. You're looking at it, and you look at some of these players. You relish this opportunity, don't you? A cheeky upset, and you're in the second round. Hope for another big tie, and then you're one round away from potentially facing Southampton, for example. Would be a huge game in Eastleigh's history if they manage to get that draw. Walsall will just be looking to avoid an upset at this point in time, you would feel. And they're in good form, top of the league. They're a team which very much expecting to win this one here. I don't know how fast or intense this is going to be, but it could be one of those ones that is going to be quite a high intensity game, attack v defense. You would base from the lineups. But yeah, we can't be that far away from kickoff now. I think, yeah, we're about to kick off here, and it's looking like all of basically Walsall are kicking off, and almost everybody apart from 2 is on the halfway line. So they're definitely gonna immediately try and cause some headaches for Eastleigh at the Silver Lake Stadium. And we have kicked off. And it's gone all the way back to Aidan Flint, who just lumps it downfield. But Eastleigh managed to deal with that, and it will be a throw in. I think Walsall, as you'd expect, with more possession, but Eastleigh coming away with it, trying to flick it round the corner. Couldn't quite find it. Heading onwards, but it's gone out for a throw-in for Walsall in their own half. Eastleigh, I don't think there's actually too much of a gap. Walsall is a very direct team normally. And so I think they both do like to get the ball forward in a quick, long ball sort of way. Presley, the ball came off Presley, and it's a throw-in for Eastleigh, who are opting to try and switch play here. You know, that is probably a good idea, getting the ball down on the ground, quickly moving it. Eastleigh, one of them typical mid-table teams. You'd think it's very encouraging sort of play. That's going to be a foul. Is it? No, it's not. It's I thought Presley was fouled there, but it went to a throw-in for Eastleigh instead. I think certainly a case of managing the game. I think maybe there was just a bit of a collision. I don't think there was much intent in it. There's Carno, I think this is just trying to combat his way through, and that is a foul. He has been tripped up. Courtney Clark, I think it is, who actually was a player who moved across onto his other side, which he doesn't normally occupy. He was certainly as a right wing back making that marauding runs forward. You'd expect that to be the case in this one. It'll be a free kick then, which Weir is looking at to take for Walsall. It's fairly far out. It's not a shooting opportunity, but maybe opportunity to whip it in head goalwards. It's up, trying to hold it up in the penalty area, but it is cleared decisively by Eastleigh. But Walsall will come again. I'm not sure why Walsall aren't in their red kit, to be honest, because I don't think there's... Unless it's to do with the shorts, I can't see where the colour kit with the blue of Eastleigh would be. And that has gone out for a corner. I think... I can't make out who did it. I think it was Charlie Lakin who was the last one to kick it there, and it deflecting out for a corner. Could we see a big Aidan Flint towering bullet header from the centre back? He has had a few of them in his career, hasn't he? He's certainly one that I would be looking out for in this one. They're already piling the box a bit here. Presley's also quite a big lad, as well as the Aidan Flint. So there's already is that Jordan Cousins who is down on the deck needing treatment? That's not something that you want so early on. He's a very experienced lad, and so yeah, that would be a huge problem if he has to go off in pain. They're already warming somebody up. It's for number 7, who Evans, I think it is. And yeah, that would be a disappointing early change, as Kieran Evans is already making himself look like getting on. He was actually at League 2 last season with Newport County on loan. So he played against Walsall last year, but Jordan Cousins is back on his feet. He is limping a bit. I think it is going to be a change. Over 300 appearances in the EFL, gone off in the 3rd, 4th minute. To Evans, that's going to be quite a big blow, I would say. You lost your captain, you lost that experience, the voice, the vocalness. It is going to... It certainly makes it all the more difficult for Eastleigh to get a result here. But Evans, I think he's normally their starting player. Oh no, he's looking to kickstart his career, but I certainly don't think he's really gonna. Yeah, it's a blow. It's obviously a blow. And he's much smaller as well, Kieran Evans. So again, losing that physicality. It's not the start that Eastleigh would have wanted at all, especially to defend from a corner. You never really want to make a change while defending a corner. That's how the old adage used to go. It's gone behind and it's in. It was all too easy. It was very well taken, to be fair. It went right across the face of the goal and was tapped in. May have been... it was a bit of a poor defending. Evan Weir, I think it was, who was arriving. But I think it may have taken a deflection. I'll need to see it again. It was very poor communication back. That's why you don't make a change normally at a defensive corner. But yeah, it was we're coming in at the back. But I think it did take a deflection potentially. All a bit of a mix up. Saunders couldn't get there. It was, it was touched in the end by Waves, just chested it in. Saunders done poor there. The goalkeeper was also flapping. It's now it's a real uphill battle. Very early on conceding. It was only 6 minutes in. It's gonna be very, very difficult. 4 goals in 14 for Evan Weir for the Irishman. who just, I think, will be glad to get another one to his title. He actually joined from Drogheda United. So it was really an interesting move. But yeah, I think a lot of them, Walsall does rely on a lot of them balls into the flicks on and their stuff. So they were probably expecting it. But yeah, but poor start for Eastleigh, really. And they're losing their experienced man. It's a really going to be a really difficult battle now. Defensively, just trying to slow down the game a bit, I think, at the moment. Yeah, I think Eastleigh could be in a world of trouble at this one. We obviously don't want to see a demolition job, but it's sort of the massive build up for an upset. And I think Warsaw's it is sort of like hailing or snowing or something down in Eastleigh at the moment. By the looks of it, it's all on the camera, and you just see white flecks. I don't know. It's quite odd because it's quite a bright day, and actually not rain at all up here in the north. But yeah, the vast quantity of experience that they have in this Walsall side is gonna maybe edge it out in this one. Proper tussling, and it's gone out. I think it was Josh Lundstrom to take this throw in. Oh no, sorry, it's going to be. I mean, I was a bit behind there. Well, it's gone long and it's into the goalie's hands. It was just way too far. There was nothing that was going to go. And Maya Roberts takes the goal kick, or not the goal kick, but kicks it far. Eastleigh are coming away for a counter attack here, but it's defended really, really well. And it's gone out for a throw in for Eastleigh at around about the halfway line. Eastleigh, I think, is just trying to keep it on the ground a bit at the moment, content to sort of actually try and transition. That was a lot of speed. I don't think there was much wrong with it. And it's a bit of, and trying to do a ping ball that had way too much on that one, and it's gone to the Eastleigh goalkeeper. Kieran McGuckin is one of them players that they'll be relying on a lot of service on him today for Eastleigh. They'll be hoping to get some balls up to him. It's gone all the way to the Walsall goalkeeper, and it is a lot of flinkering, I think, is what the old terminology in Derbyshire was for what it is. Very cold rain. And gone out for a throw to Eastleigh right next to their own corner flag. They can't make a mistake here. That is categorically something that cannot happen. Walsall will be looking to avoid a mistake that they had last year of a capitulation, as they're currently top of League Two. Already, Humphreys goes forward, and that will be a foul. That is a foul conceded by Brown. He's just stuck a leg out there. Not really necessary. Yeah, he was never gonna get the ball in that situation. I'll read any comments if there are any at half time. It is now absolutely. It's got a lot more. There'll be a rainbow somewhere because like half the pitch it's raining, half the pitch it's not. It's really, really odd. So nice pitch actually for National League quality. It's looking really good actually. Eastleigh are beginning to find their feet after an early disappointment. Humphreys goes tumbling. I think it might be a throw in though. He just had a little bit too much to do. and he just couldn't hold the ball up. It will be interesting. I think Brown is going to take this throw in, a good solid one, but again, Humphreys getting his head on it. He's already looking quite decent, the defender. And again, he's putting a really good tackle there, and Eastleigh looked to break. Can he get the pace there? Oh, that's a poor mistake. They are very lucky there. And there's a shot from Eastleigh, and it's parried behind for a goalkeeper, and they can breathe a sigh of relief. There was almost calamity there. Evan Weir was the defender who had to do a decent job. Aidan Flint headed it. It was a back pass that was very risky. No, it was Flint who was going for it. So Evan Weir tried to do the back pass on rushing pressure, bit of a mix up. Weir tries to clear it. Flint tries to clear it, and then it gets to the Eastleigh player who then strikes low, but it's parried away by Miles Roberts. That was one of them ones that could very feasibly gone into the back of the net. It is now a corner in torrential rain, absolutely torrential. And it's headed, and it's off the crossbar, and it's cleared away by Walsall. Lloyd Humphreys got that off the crossbar, I believe it was. He heads it on, and it's just tipped off the crossbar. A very good effort from number 4. Looking to add another goal, as second in 2 matches. He is certainly coming out on top of this physical battle, and I would already think to say that he is somebody who I would be giving man of the match to for the Eastleigh team at the moment. It was a tip onto the crossbar, but yeah, again, almost there. It was just wide, but this time it is a sliding in. It was a very decent chance indeed. So I think that's a Humphreys flick. Not well communicated, I must say. Iwaka, though, I think he was trying to get onto it. Both of them, him and another player who I can't quite make out, both tried to get for it, and there was a bit of a mix-up. Not a mix-up per se, but someone should just call for it and get a bit of composure. But yeah, some nice play in the last few minutes from Eastleigh here. I've been really impressed how they've reacted, and it goes out for an Eastleigh throw-in. All a lot of work done from Vokins, I think it is, who's managed to get that throw in at the halfway line. To be fair, I think it's one of them ones that Eastleigh now have that pressure off them a bit. The goalkeeper ready to pump this downfield. He goes long. It's headed down, and that is a handball. That was it's a bit unfortunate for Harper in some senses, the former Eastleigh man, of course. But it was, I mean, it was a handball, but I wouldn't have said it was a totally unnatural position. But yeah, you can't dispute that being a handball. There's a free kick halfway between the halfway line and the penalty area on the far right-hand side. Vokins is over this. 64% possession already for Eastleigh, by the way. But we know Walsall play well without the ball. It's flicked in, and it's collected by Miles Roberts, who tried to quickly release it and then just gone down to his knees. It was one of them ones that I think it would. I don't know why he didn't go with it. I think maybe he thought the better of it, but he certainly looked like he was going to go for a quick counter attack, and maybe there wasn't anyone up front because they're all defending. Yeah, certainly it could have done with a better attendance. I think that there are several seats that are empty in this one. That is a foul given away against Uwaka by Presley. He's gone into the back of him, and it's he's still down on the floor, Uweka. It's going to be a yellow card for Presley. It's early door yellow card there. Just that's a pull, but he's gone back into him. Presley, I think that's just an aerial dual clasher. Yes, it's maybe a foul, but I don't think it's a yellow card. I think that is a very harsh decision in this one. I think it was maybe his forearm sort of caught him, which then does mean that it's one of them ones that I mean, the referee was right on top of it. But Uweka's fine. We move on. And Humphreys has got it. And he's whipped it forward, headed up by. And then there's a lot of aerial ping pong going on right now in the penalty area. Eastleigh still have it, and it goes all the way back to their centre back. Absolutely all over the spot. I love to pitch at the moment is Humphreys. I would love to see his heat map at half time because he's been absolutely everywhere. Uweka trying to pull a bit, and that has gone out for a goal kick. Lakin just, no, not Kanu, I think it was, who just ran a bit too far. No, Lakin kicked it and Kanu tried to keep it in, and it ran a bit too far for a goal kick. But Eastleigh beginning to settle down a bit now, and yeah, I think it's big strong header forward for Walsall, but way too much on it in the end. If anyone was running onto that, that would have maybe been a decent ball, but no one was there. So it's going. It's knocked downfield by Uweka, headed down and onwards, over the top, and all Eastleigh just missed there. Saunders with the effort from quite far out. That was maybe a brilliant opportunity. It looked very likely. It was headed down. It was the goalkeeper was a bit far, but it looked like it could have been lovely. But it was one of them ones where it was very far out, and it goes wide to the goalkeeper's right hand side. I do love that he did that early. Everything was the decision making very, very good decisions there. Can't fault it. Just couldn't hit it on target really. Headering 5 attempts for Eastleigh to only Walsall's 1. On that stats wise, Eastleigh are looking to dominate, and they're going into the penalty area again, and it's collected into the hands of Humphreys. That was the number 10. I think he got a little flick deflection into the arms. But it was a great run. I don't think he's actually taken anyone off, but yeah, it took a little deflection and bobble up. But yeah, nothing too difficult for Humphrey. Not Humphrey. It was I can't remember what the goalkeeper's called. Miles Roberts. Nothing too difficult for him to do there. Again, Presley is he's lost possession to Eastleigh in an area that they want to be retaining possession in. Eastleigh could definitely make their way back into this without a shadow of a doubt at the moment. The goalkeeper Roberts goes down, but again it comes away with Eastleigh, who have done a great pass. Humphreys just get dispossessed there. Yeah, I mean, I've been kicking around at this point. I don't think Matt Sadler is going to be that happy given the amount of time that they're giving away the ball here, because Eastleigh are looking to dominate much more. I think other than the sort of one chance which resulted in a goal from a corner, which was a bit unfortunate in a sense, I think Eastleigh haven't actually in this game so far been a bit better. I think that's the best chance that came a few minutes ago, maybe either that or the crossbar one. Both of these teams are exactly the sort of thing that you need to do is just take a shot. You don't mind it. So Eastleigh's keeper kicks it downfield. It's going to be a free kick, I believe, to Eastleigh. I think Magukin was it handball? I think it's been given for a handball. I admittedly I didn't see it. It's almost exactly at the halfway line here. So kicking onwards, bit too much in that. In the end, but I don't think we're ever going to be able to get that. A lot of good long balls in this game. Don't mind that. But Eastleigh is certainly doing a lot on there. Passing the ball in great movement. And force the very last ditch kicking away for a corner. Magukin was one who curled that in, I think it was. Vokins curled it in. Magukin was lurking. And yeah, time for a corner. Will it be a second corner goal of this game? It remains to be seen, but it was a great ball in. That wonderfully whipped in. But yeah, Vokins to take this corner. We just seen how good he is at whipping the ball in. So he scored in the last round of this in the FA Cup. It's headed up and onwards. But Eastleigh will come again, I imagine. All the Walsall players are in their own half at the moment, which is not what you really expect to see. There was no one there in the end. A bit of a poor pass. And it goes through to the Eastleigh goalkeeper. Lloyd Humphreys trying to... I can see what he was doing there. It was almost decent. Very combative performance in that one. 50-50 with number 17 for Eastleigh coming in the better of it. Downfield, and it's almost a goal. It's down to and parried again. It was a great, well-worked bit of move. I think that was meant to be a cross, not a shot in the end, but I'm sure he'll claim credit for a shot if that went in. But it's just scraped up by Miles Roberts, who's yet to be beaten, but knocking on the door, really, Eastleigh, as they get another corner. Despite losing Cousins, they've not lost any of their effort or energy, and that has unfortunately gone past everyone for a goal kick. But yeah, since that early disappointment, 25 minutes in, I'd say for about 20 minutes now, Eastleigh have been on top. And I think there is certainly a case for Eastleigh making their way back. They have been... all of the shots have actually been quite good quality. There's nothing that I'd say is just whacking the ball, hoping something will work. Everything's been done with purpose and a beautiful bit of play so far in this one. It was a push in the back potentially by pressing. Presley apparently came off Presley's arm, according to the BBC commentary team. I wasn't sure it was called for. Presley is getting a bit wound up at the moment, and he's already on a yellow. I don't... he could potentially get a red card. I think he's a bit hot-headed as well, the Presley player. Ueka just can't manage to keep that in there. I think that's gone behind for a throw-in, potentially. But Lundstrom's the number 17 who had that shot. Well, we know Lundstrom loves a long shot. It'll be a throw-in then for Walsall. Got a lovely collar. I love that collar on their kit. The rest of it, a bit maybe, but it's got a beautiful collar. greatly worked if this again, not confident that he's very lucky there again, the goalkeeper, who wasn't most confident, and now Walsall looking for a counter attack. We're out on the right with it. A cross comes across, goes past everyone, and Eastleigh will clear this almost certainly. Saunders dallying a bit and kicked it out for a throw in. Very end to end that move there. Certainly looking all right. Long throws maybe a bit of a specialist. We know that Evans is the specialist with it. But we do know that if you look at the pitch, you can just see this pitch. It doesn't give you much of a space for a run up. Some of the places you have get a really good run up, but behind this one, there's not much space to have a run up, which Eastleigh will definitely be using to press their advantage. And cleared away by Aweka. And I think Eastleigh haven't really been troubled too much other than that goal, which was a bit calamitous, all because of a change really to Jordan Cousins being injured. You don't want to make a change when you have a corner, and that's the exact reason why. In terms of that's dangerous position, and it goes across the face of the goal out for a goal kick. The Carnu there was causing a bit of a problem. His angle was all wrong. But Eastleigh sort of very lucky. Aweka lost the battle there, but it was never going to go in. The angle was not there. I think it did take a ricochet. So maybe it's a corner. Yeah, I think it's a corner, which we know Walsall have already scored from this game. Carnu is the one who's taking, who will try, who managed to get them corner. Where to whip this in. Knock downfield. Number 10 may get this. He had to go back to the goalkeeper there, the Walsall lad, because Magukin was absolutely chasing onto that. It's a free kick for Walsall around about the halfway line. Kieran Magukin is very fast, I must say, for number 10, extraordinary amount of pace. So he certainly looked a threat. And Eastleigh coming up forward again. Humphreys has it, battling away. Whipped in, number 2 for Walsall headers it over for a corner kick. I think it was Barrett with a header over, because there was an onrushing Vokes, which would have spelled a bit of danger. Throw in here, it'll be definitely a long throw in by Harris, I think it is, who doesn't seem to have that in his arsenal. I don't know if any of the Eastleigh players have got a long throw in their arsenal, but because it certainly wasn't. That's probably why their pitch is so small. That side, I think there's a bit more space because of the dugouts for a long throw. Eastleigh very much keeping it on the ball, on the ground rather. I can't really complain too much about the referee so far. He's managed the game, the occasion, and of course no VAR in this round of the FA Cup, being the first round. And it's quite a nice, it's a proper FA Cup tie, if you will. A non-league side versus a league side looking to cause an upset and actually performing quite well, I must say so. Throw in here. It's up. Iweka being a bit physical there. But it'll be a throw-in for Eastleigh. Well, player's got a decently long throw. I don't know why he didn't take it. Well, maybe because it's the other side. But it was number 2, I think, for Eastleigh. I don't have. It's not on my actual TV, it's on my screen. So in terms of watching it, A, it's not as big, and B, it's I don't have the numbers up as I would normally do for the players. So it is sort of going on vibes and the subtitles that I have on. It's about a third of the way through the match here. We've just passed half an hour. And I'm going to say thoroughly enjoyable game so far. Walsall 1-0 up, but Eastleigh have probably looked the better of the two sides for most of this game. That's about it to say at the moment. Very impressive. Will be throw in for Eastleigh by the dugouts. Not the dugouts. It is the dugouts, but I think it was more over across near the dressing room tunnel. I think is there. Walsall come away with it and a bit of pace here. That is a brilliant challenge from Awaka, who's come sliding in, but got it exactly right. It was Carnu who was trying to push onto that. Temi Awaka, I think, has done quite a decent job in physicality terms. Saunders has been fouled there, surely. All over the back of him with his hands is... I can't make out who that is. I need the number because I don't know what they look like. Lakin is getting a bit of an argument with a referee there. But I think for me, it was certainly a foul. And a bit of pressure. It's a decent one for a whipped-in cross, maybe. Number 7 to take it. Can't quite. He was trying to get Humphreys, who I think could have actually potentially got that. I think it was Evans who took it in the end. He's looked bright actually since he's come on as a substitute in the 6th minute as Cousins had an injury. I was really looking forward to seeing Jordan Cousin play actually. But oh well, hopefully it's not too serious. That is a sloppy foul. That is a very obvious foul conceded by Harris there, who's got the sort of Bale man bun haircut. Against he just put out an arm, stopping Barrett from running. Stonewall foul, really. Archie Harris really, he knew that he was going to get past him if he didn't concede a foul. So he did it, and I don't necessarily blame him. Sometimes you go with them tactical fouls, don't you? But it is a bit of a dangerous position for Walsall to knock in a free kick here. It's on the far left, far right rather, for the goalkeeper, who doesn't quite catch it. Oh, and Awaka just saved the bacon of a goalkeeper. Townsend should have absolutely caught that. That is poor to have not caught that in midair, and very, very lucky because Carnu was trying to head it over and it was cleared by, I don't think it was a Waker actually. It was someone else. Was it Pierre? I think it was who cleared it. Really, really good clearance to get that block to stop it, to get him back in there. I thought it was destined to go in, to be honest. Aaron Pierre absolutely did his team a solid there. Well, Eastleigh are powering forward. Saunders has just managed to override it a bit. Walsall almost came close to a second there. I'm not rating the Eastleigh goalkeeper. Oh, and that is a foul. But advantage was played that wasn't made for use of. I think it was Brown was upended by Lloyd Humphreys. Flint to start it again. To be fair, I think Walsall would have rather taken a free kick at that particular moment when that fouling. It was both teams players have missed that, and it's always just about kept in there, and a bit of an injury by the looks of it has been caused. Was it against Pierre? I think he was trying to get it. It was a low drilled in cross. Almost a touchline. Come flyer headering in from Carnu, and from Clark rather. I thought it was Carnu, but I can't tell from a distance. It's one of them ones that it's really hard to say with zoom out. Courtney Clark it was who came flying in. It was apparently the young player of the year last year for Walsall. A really bright talent as a wing back normally, so that's why I was a bit surprised. It was Timmy Waker who managed to put his body in the line. So some sharp, crisp passes at the moment from the Eastleigh side. Keeping it on the ground. It's sort of the opposite of what you'd expect. Eastleigh keeping it on the ground, Walsall flicking it on a bit more. You normally expect that to be the other way around in it. So clearly, it's one of them. Eastleigh will be used to playing against this type of football in the National League, I imagine. They're a bit of a 50-50 side, always seem to finish in 12th place, Eastleigh. Absolutely, and they currently are in 12th place. Trying to get it around the flick it on, but it hasn't quite worked out there. And it goes all the way back to Townsend, who will try. He's gone out wide here. Again, it's one of them ones that we've gone black. Why have we gone black? I can't actually, because it's gone. But the cameras aren't working the best for the BBC. Nothing to do with my end, by the way. So it's somehow in Walsall's area. I have no idea how it got there. It was probably the weather causing a bit of havoc, to be honest. Lloyd Humphreys has it, but it's been pickpocketed there by Courtney Clark. But he couldn't get it forward, to be honest. That is arguably a handball. But Lloyd Humphreys has it, and he tries a cross-field pass. Does not find his man. He almost did, but it was cleared by the number 30 for Walsall. Not a lot of midfield play, it must be said, at present. It's a lot of it's sort of been defence flickered on when you get to a certain position, and then, I mean, a lot more expansive night for Eastleigh. They seem to be more operating a back three, more like a 3-5-2 sorts. It's whipped in again from Eastleigh. He doesn't fill me with half with confidence. He's not. It was a tricky ball. They've had some. Miles Roberts, I think, has gotten away with absolute murder so far this game because he has made some really bizarre decisions. Both of these goalkeepers have made really poor decision making. Yeah, I think they're the two players that I would put as the weakest at the moment. Hey, off and over. They're both seen a lot of work, though. Vokins, I think, does head that out. It was trying to chase it, but I think maybe he should have just left that, to be honest. Because the heading position was all wrong for him to be able to get anything from it. Brown will take this throw in almost half time at the Silver Lake Stadium. And it's going to be a throw in taken. I thought Courtney Hart was going to take that and do it quickly, but it's not. I think it was Pierre winning it ahead of Carnu to concede that throw in. Brown again will be the one to take this. Clearly, the chosen throw in. You can see why he's got a bit of a better throw in tactic, I suppose you could call it. Bit of ping pong aerial tennis in midfield. Brown is passing it back to Flint, who will do a 1-2. And then Brown passes it back to the goalkeeper. Walsall, at the moment, are just sort of looking to see out this first half, really. Pierre is definitely just giving away a foul there using his physicality, and he's got given a yellow card for it. He just was sort of using his body and sort of holding Presley back. So yeah, that's a yellow card for Aaron Pierre. Believe he's a Jamaican international. I think it was him they were talking about in the first half. But this is a dangerous position. They've got a 4-man wall, Eastleigh. And it's in the sun in the eyes as well for Eastleigh. So that is going to be really, really unfortunate. But Eastleigh will have this advantage in a few minutes. So Roberts really needs... Not Roberts. It's not Roberts. It's Townsend, rather. Really needs to make himself clear. We need to get the hats out, I think. Get the hats back on the goalies. Lev Yashin used to wear a hat. I am. There's a few of us who've, in various World Cups, have been wearing caps. Whoo! I thought that was going to sneak in there. I thought that was going to go bottom corner by way. It was a decent one. It's just curled just the wrong side of the barrel. It was a lovely ball. It really was. If that had been 5 inches further to the left, that would have been one of the most best goals you would have ever seen. The goalkeeper was nowhere near it. Yeah, fantastic choice there by Weir. So close to making it 2-0. And that probably would have crushed Eastleigh and probably put them out of the game. But they live on. Crossed in by Walsall, but Eastleigh seem to have dealt with it of sorts. I'm not sure. There was a foul given there, and Eastleigh will take a free kick. Time near the penalty area they have. So I think maybe a reset. It's hard to analyse, isn't it? Because they've done really, really well. But they're lucky to not be 2-0 down. That is quite frankly where we are at this moment. There's been about 3 good chances, I'd say, that Walsall have had. certainly should have capitalised on at least one more of them, I would say. Eastleigh have had some decent things, and I don't think they played poorly. It's been a great game in a sense. Eastleigh, I'd probably just say carry on doing what you're doing. We are 1 minute away from half time, where I'll go and see if there's been any comments. We'll go through the sofa score ratings, look a bit at the stats that people have. Brindley managed to come away with that in the defensive area. It's interesting that I haven't really mentioned Brindley too much. He has quietly been working away. And that sort of, it's because he's on the far side. He has actually done stuff. He's just on the far side for me, so I don't always notice when he's doing stuff. Pierre is down on the ground. I think he's managed to get himself a free kick. Presley just coming into the side. That is an interesting battle. Pierre and Presley are certainly locked in a battle. The big centre back versus the attacking. He's probably a number 10, but he's not got a number 10 on his back. Carnu's been told to clear off. I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I mean, is it a drop ball? I've no idea what has happened in that. Was it a head injury? That was an odd decision. It'll be a throw-in for Walsall, who are just wasting every bit of time at this moment just to get down the tunnel for their halftime team talk, where they'll probably get told to try and dominate a bit more possession, and that is time at the halftime interval. Let's see, has there been any comments so far? No, there has not, by the looks of it. But in terms of, so let's go through the sofa scores at half time. I think sofa scores been a bit harsh on some of these Eastleigh side. 6.5 for Townsend. I thought he's been a bit worse, to be honest. In terms of he's been better with the passing, but defending and goalkeeping wise, it's absolutely not. Again, it's hard to say with these score ratings because he's made 2 recoveries apparently. But I think he's been much worse than what it claims to be. Well, he hasn't made a save, to be fair. He's not made a save or a punch or a high claim. So that for a goalkeeper, not ideal. 6.3 for Harris. Yeah, I've not seen a lot of him. To be honest, I think he's been quite quiet. And considering he's a defender, hasn't won a single tackle or done a single tackle, hasn't done a single interception, has done 4 clearances and 5 recoveries, hasn't won a ground duel, and won 2 out of his 3 aerial duels. Yeah, on a defensive viewpoint, I think he should be doing better there. Pierre absolutely has been one of it's probably actually him and Humphreys, I think, are the 2 best maybe at the moment in this Eastleigh team. Maybe Kieran Evans, who came on unexpectedly, has done quite well as well. But yeah, Pierre in this regard, very defensively solid. A good old duel in that. Has had only done 1 tackle, 1 interception, 2 clearances, 1 block shot, and 1 recovery. I think won half of his aerial duels, won 3 out of 2 ground duels. Bit good old challenging sort of thing. For me, it was so obvious. The best thing that he did was that goal line clearance, really getting his team out of the mud on that one. And he's had a lovely bit of jostling going on. The Waker is on a 6.2, or 6.3, which I think is quite poor. I mean, I suppose in terms of shooting, he was wildly off with some of his shooting. He had a shot which ended up going to absolutely miles off, but he's mainly a defender, and maybe he's had 3 clearances, 1 block shot, 2 recoveries, 1 ground duel, 1. Maybe they want him to do a bit better, but I thought, he's cleared when he's needed to clear. I don't know. is always room for improvement, but I thought it was all right. Humphreys 6.9, absolutely great player all round. His passing has been second to none, is what I would say. He's made one key pass, but he's made 12 out of 19 accurate passes at 63% thing. Passes in opposite half, 5 out of his 11 passes into the opposite half have been accurate. He's done 7 out of 8 passes in his own half, and 1 out of 4 of his long balls have been accurate. I think for that regards, he's been quite decent. I think he's been more of a better player suited maybe to midfield than anything. He has done 2 tackles on 1-1, 2 interceptions, 3 recoveries, have won all 4 of his ground duels, won half of his aerial duels. I think he's been very, very solid as an option, and he's been almost everywhere. And we are going to look at his heat map. He's been mainly found himself in the left defensive area, but occasionally finds himself in the midfield, and not really where you'd expect a defender to be. He's been just bumped up to a 7.0. Very good. 6.5 for Brinley. Very much hugging that touchline. Defensively, I think can do more. He's won 2 tackles, had 1 clearance, won both of his ground balls for 2, and won his 1 aerial duel. But I just don't think he's been stuck in as much as I would possibly like him to be. Vokes on a 6.3. He has been virtually disappearing, like not in the game, other than when he's had a bit of set pieces and throw-ins and corners and like. Really only had 1 accurate cross out of the 4 that he's made. For your midfielder, your winger, you want him to be doing a bit better. He's made 1 key pass. Only 1 pass in the opposition half has actually succeeded out of 5 he's attempted. Low pass accuracy, 5 out of 8. He's just not in the game. That's part of the issue. He's just not in the game. 1 interception. He's attempted 1 ground duel, which he lost. Aerial duel, which he lost. Yeah, he needs to get in the game for me. That is quite an area of weakness. Lundstrom, I don't talk about him too much because, again, he has been fairly quiet. He's sort of been darting across the pitch almost, and covering that entire midfield area. He's done a lot of good dribbles, I must say. 24 touches so far, with only 1 of them being unsuccessful. There's only lost possession 11 times. He's been on the better side of things, I'd say. It's always hard to say. He's been consistent, I think, is the words that I would use. Jordan Cousins we're not going to rate because that would be incredibly harsh, and so scores decided as such. Kieran Evans on a 6.7. He's been just popping up everywhere. He's done corners. He's done some good work in the midfield and some great flick rounds. His dribbling is relatively decent. 17 touches, 4 unsuccessful touches, mind. He lost possession 8 times, was fouled 3 times. But it's because he's involved, right? He has the possession quite a lot of the time. And for that, he had an accurate long ball, which was an absolute fantastic one. Yeah, I think Kieran Evans, has managed to step in the shoes relatively well and control that midfield tempo for me. 6.3 for Harvey Saunders. He always just seems to pop off on the halfway line on the far right. His shooting has been wildly poor. He tried it a couple of times, and he was in that situation where, he had 1 shot on target and he had 1 big chance missed, and it was a big chance as well it was on the 20th minute, and he missed quite comprehensively. He had a decent one earlier on, which was saved. Dribbling wise, though, for a midfielder, you don't mind it. He's had 15 touches, 2 unsuccessful, lost possession 8 times. I just think some of them big chances he really has been ruining at the moment. And up front, Kieran McGuckin, been very fast. Hasn't had the ball as much as he wanted to on a 6.4. To be fair, what you want him for is shooting, and he's only taken one shot, which was on target, but I think he needs to get a few more shots away for a attacker. He's moved quick and he's trying to be there, but not as good as maybe you'd expect. In terms of onto the Walsall team, let's see if we can. We're going to go through these maybe a bit quicker. 6.8 Roberts. I think he's been poor in all reality. I mean, he's made 4 saves and 2 saves inside the box and 1 successful run out. We also did have 1 error leading to shot and 1 high claim. Maybe I'm being overly critical, based on that 1 mistake, but I didn't quite feel confident when he had the ball. Brown on a 6.7. He did a lot of he's been just popping up here and there and a bit of everywhere. Defensive wise, I don't mind his effort. 3 out of 2 aerial duels. So 2 out of 3 of his aerial duels he won. But other than that, not a great deal. Passing wise, all right. 10 out of 14 as his passes were accurate. 4 out of his 7 passes in the opposite half were accurate, which is quite low, but it's in the opposite half, so you sort of expect that a bit more. And 6 out of 7 of his passes his own half found this man. 2 out of his 3 accurate long balls. So he's sort of been pinging it forward a bit. Aidan Flint as dependable on a 6.7. A bit average, but it's Mr. Dependable. Aidan Flint. You'd want him for his defending. That's ultimately what he's done. He's won his only tackle that he's done so far. He's had 2 recoveries, won 1 ground duel out of 1 he's done, and won 1 aerial duel out of 1 he's done. So in terms of that, he's done decent. Weir is the best one player of the match so far. Evan Weir on a 7.8. He's been popping everywhere. He had the goal, so you can't really fault his shooting too much, can you? When he hit the post just before the end as well. So he scored in the 6th minute and he almost doubled it in the 46th. Passing wise as well for a defender has been quite good. 1 key passes, 2 out of his 3 crosses have been accurate. 8 out of 12 accurate passes, with 7 out of his 12 accurate ones being in his own half, and 3 and he's when opposite half, and 3 out of 3, 100% of the passes in his own half, and 50% of his long balls are accurate. He's attempted 6. Defending wise, he's had 1 interception, 5 clearances. Very solid player, already looking like man of the match. 7.2 for Connor Barrett, who has sort of been, I think, a bit quiet in this one. He's been mainly consigned to throw-ins, but his passing has been quite decent as well. 1 key pass, 1 accurate cross. 3 out of 6 of his passes have been accurate, and 3 of them passes have been out of 5 has been in the opposite half and found his man. It is a bit lopsided in terms of that statistic, though, because of how many small sample size. But if he does a bit more, I think he'd be very good. 6.1 for Charlie Lakin. He has been he's been on the side that I haven't really been able to see, but I think he's just been a bit average so far. A 6.2 for Brandon Comley, who just seems to pop up every now and again in random positions. As a midfielder, you don't mind that too much. 2 clearances, 5 recoveries. Haven't won any of his 3 ground duels and 2 fouls. On the assist is Courtney Clark. I think he's been very good. He's on a 7.2. His shooting could definitely improve. He got it over the bar in the 39th minute. But he's been diving in, but his passing. 1 assist, 1 big chance created, 1 key pass, 1 accurate cross out with 2 attempted, 8 out of 11 accurate passes, 3 out of 6 passes finding his own man in his own half, in his opposition half, and 6 out of 7 in his own half. There's times that he's created a lot, and I think he's been quite impressive. Vincent Harper on a 6.9, very much hugging that side line and bid average and everything that he's done so far. In the attacking sense, 6.5 for Carnu, who generally has been everywhere, but not everywhere at the same time. He's just whenever he's appeared, he's just in the most random positions. He had a blocked shot, and that's about it. You want a bit more from your striker. Aaron Presley on a 6.4. Again, another one who's been up everywhere in a real battle versus Pierre. He had a blocked shot at the half an hour mark. Again, you want to see a few more shots from him. I think we are about to start underway in a minute or two into this second half. Let me know, how do you see this game ending? I think Walsall could currently get back in. Oh, we can't have audio, sorry, because that will be absolutely copyrighted. But yeah, we are about to surely go into the second half. I don't believe the BBC will be able to copyright me for 3 seconds of audio. That'd be absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, it's. I think. Let me know. Do you enjoy this format? And if you do, would you? What other games would you want me to do? I'm doing an FA Cup one probably for the second round potentially. I think the next one I'm planning on doing is a Derby County game versus Leicester City in a few weeks' time. I prefer to go to non-league games in person, and you can always check out on the shorts some of the fan involvement that I've been in and seen the chants. It is always quite fun and entertaining, and you get to connect a bit more to the locals. Yep, so no changes at half time. And Eastleigh are going to get us underway in their blue kit. So this time the sun will be in the eyes of the other goalkeeper, so maybe Eastleigh can press that advantage. It's already an early long ball for Eastleigh, and they will be looking to, get something from this game, taking them to extra time maybe. Walsall did actually come to Hampshire in the FA Cup in 2023-24 when they played against Southampton, but lost 4-0. Long ball forward by Pierre. Couldn't quite win that aerial one at the number 15 for Eastleigh. Because they're all switched sides, I'll have to learn all the people on this side as well. Long throw in taken, but yet again, Lloyd Humphreys peering up and getting something on it. A throw in it will be for Eastleigh. Taken on near side quickly. And a switch over to Awuka. Or Weaker, I don't know how you pronounce that. Barrett passes it downfield. It's gone quick. I'd say, yeah, press the goalkeeper. I think it was Brindley who was trying to pass on to Kieran McGurkin, but again, it was not a challenge for Roberts at all. You'll always notice with these ones that I am always biased to watch the other side from the near side. I will say though, Charlie Lakin it has been one of the ones which have been trying to get onto the second balls a lot, which I think has gone a bit under the radar. It's a throw in for Walsall and goes out to Weir with a cross, headed away by Awuka, and Eastleigh might come away with this. McGurkin has got it. Almost managed to see, but still got it. And now Eastleigh clear. I think Barrett was a player that McGurkin was trying to get. And Vokins was almost on top of that as well. it does actually do it could be feasibly a football league pitch actually, or even a football league game. The pitch, the stands, everything seemed to um, be pointing up um, for a football league thing. They spent a lot of money, by the way, 10 million um, to get this stadium up to the right standard. So they would probably be disappointed if they don't start competing for playoffs soon. But it's very competitive in National League. Pierre has it to Humphreys, who goes across to Barrett. And it's going to be number 8 has just done a bit too much there. I think it's Charlie Lakin potentially diving in tackle there. Brilliant tackle. It's going to be a throw in taken quickly by Lundstrom. They're really beginning to come into it, aren't they? There's a lot of space being created for Eastleigh to run into. And they're certainly, I think, going to be making the opportunity of this. I'll be surprised if it ends the same scoreline as it has done. On to, it's gone out for, no, it's not gone out. It was appeal for throw-ins, but there wasn't one. And that's going to be a goal, a very well worked goal at that. It was very quick, very out of the blue. Carnu was the goal scorer in that one. He was way absolutely pinging it forward rapidly. Carnu just slotting it home, very tidy, very comfortable chance, to be honest. And that is now a tall order for Eastleigh to get back into this. So it was we're gone to Carnu, and Carnu's just taking it first touch, bang, bottom corner, as much as you like it. It's one of them ones that commentary doesn't do it. Just it was more middle actually, but he was putting it towards near corner. Yeah, it was the goalkeeper. I think could have potentially done a bit better there, but I think the speed maybe gotten better there. And Carnu's run was timed absolutely perfectly. He knows where to put it. He slots it home. A brilliant finish. And I think some of the problems that Walsall had of converting chances have not had a problem in this one, to say the least. Lloyd Humphreys still trying to ticket by. Thing is, Carnu I think is on loan at Charlton, and that there is a threat that maybe that gets recalled. Weir, I think, has been the best player potentially on the pitch. I think I said that at half time. He has just got himself another assist and really done an absolute solid on this one. Wika has managed to just get it out for a goal kick. I'm not sure the legality of that, but it wasn't a massive push, but it was. Yeah, Presley was really, we're seeing the goal again. That is such a beautiful goal, well worked. I think the pass from Weir was pinpoint accuracy, and it makes all the difference. That sort of top quality up front, just to net it into the back of the net. Could be interesting to see a Walsall versus Burton in the next round if it stays like this, because there's a tasty little rivalry involved in that one. There's still there's likes of Albert Adoma, Jamil Matt, both hugely experienced on the bench. So I think Eastleigh becoming a bit more under the cosh now. But they've not got that same thing. Humphreys comes away with this. but loses possession there. He's done too much. It was Courtney Clark who managed to get it, and it's constant, absolutely constant. Courtney Clark, I think that was trying to be a cross, but it was too close to the goalkeeper, who deals with that comfortably. But yeah, Eastleigh now looking a bit more headless chickens wise. Comley is trying to turn the heat on. It's gone across. Oh, that's a late challenge. That is going to be advantage, but it was certainly a late challenge by Humphreys, lunging into Courtney Clark. Try to do a cross there, but it goes off for a corner. Right, I think it was Harris who was trying to get it across there with the gone absolutely tumbling it. I think very much lucky there is Humphreys to get away with not being booked. If I don't think if a referee gave advantage there, he would have got a yellow card. I'm thinking that it was a poor challenge. Clark being really industrious, he's really physical and really full of energy. He really drives forward at players and at teams, and that does scare defences. I wouldn't mind Courtney Clark as if Derby went into Courtney Clark, because he was at Derby's under-21s. It's a bit of a shame actually. He was at Derby's under-21s when Wayne Rooney was in charge, and I would have thought he would have been a great player to manage to bring into the Derby setup. Maybe he'll want to come back in a few years' time, because I think that there's definitely a player in there. And he's still young, you know. I hope we've got a buyback option for that one, but I doubt we do, because that would be the Derby way. To be fair, Walsall lowest scorers in the top 7 in League Two at the moment, and that is something which may be a bit of a concern. It'll be a corner. Charlie Lakin was trying to push onto that. He's certainly player Charlie Lakin who've got a lot of time for. He's one of them classic midfielders of the lower leagues. He just let that one run out for a corner. You know, it's where Walsall's real strength lies, to be honest. We know Courtney Clark can absolutely deliver these balls. It's a shame in a sense that Derby let so many of these academy lads go. You know, we have so many decent ones. They were in administration, I believe, at the time, so they had to go. But yeah, that was another great corner by Clark, but it came off a Walsall head at last, and it's going to be a goal kick. Not well connected. It was a bit of a pressure applied to Weir there. There's not a lot of experience, really, for Eastleigh in this one. A lot of youngsters, mainly. So it's going to be difficult for them to get back into this. That was a poor miscue. Credit to give to Eastleigh, though they've not given up, but things have gotten a bit more sloppy, epitomised really by that header, which is way off target into a throw-in, which Harper will take. I think it was Awuka who was the one who did the poor header in that one. We're to take this throw-in. It goes back to him, and he's going a cross-field pass. A great searching ball, that one, to pick out that man on that side was great. I think it's Barrett. It was a solid cross-field pass. I mean, Courtney Clark has given away a throw in. He is on the other side of the pitch now. He's been absolutely everywhere. And the issue is, the person who's asking number 15, who is meant to be number 10, has not been very strong yet. That's arguably going to. Yeah, there was a couple of things there which could have been given for him. There was a handball, I'm pretty certain it was a handball. And there was also a foul. Carnu trying to get another one. It just goes the other side of the post. He's frustrated with himself. It was a great first touch that took it past the Eastleigh defender, but he's just got that too wide. And it's showing that bit of quality between non-league and the Football League at this point in time. The defence is beginning to creak under a bit of pressure, I think, from Eastleigh. And he's only 20 years old, by the way, Carnu. I think Charlton might be quite happy by this performance by Carnu, and that is always a danger that he just get recalled in January and either sent out to a League One side or to be a bit part player in their squad. They're doing quite well themselves for Charlton at the moment, so I think Walsall can at least rest easy on that front. It's quite a small player, that number 15, actually. So they need to stop trying to, get so high. Because it's a very typical big man, little man situation. They're looking like there's some warming up on the bench for Eastleigh, and maybe some changes afoot. They're applying pressure on the defence at the moment. Charlie McGuckin, and then they've put two up top. Essentially, it seems more of a 4-4-2 at this point in time that Eastleigh are playing. So I think they've changed their formation. I'm not quite. I think it's been most of the second half at that one. Brown bit of showboating. Doing keepy uppies, and then absolutely clatters it into the car park. So that'll be a throw into Eastleigh, but before that, they are making a substitution. The number 3 is coming off, and the number 19 is going on. A very young-looking player that is on the bench, number 19. Vokin's coming off. Skinner is coming on. Luke Skinner, that is. He is on a short-term loan from Bristol City until January. He wasn't actually eligible in the previous round. Jake Vokins actually scored a stun in the last game, but hasn't been as good in this match, I must say. And I think, you know what, it's going to be interesting to see if Skinner can make a difference in this one. There was a attempt there, a fairly decent one from Evans, was it? Who was looking for Harris. Definitely didn't expect. Evans was looking for Harris, but I don't think Harris will expect it. And it's gone out for a corner. The fullbacks have got to be more advanced in this one. We've got to start going forward. But then that does open yourself up for a bit of weakness at the back. And they're now working really well, Walsall. Okay. That was horrendous by Weir, who's been decent all game. He was one of the players I've been singing an absolute praise of, and has just done a horrendous. It's not his favoured foot, admittedly, but he's just spanned that well to the left-hand side of the goal for the goalie. So Townsend does not need to worry about that one at all, and it's gone out for a Walsall throw-in. Apparently, there was a one of the players here is a Antigua and Barbuda international, but I didn't quite catch who it was. Presley again involved in a bit of a rough and tumble. Lakin letting it bounce wasn't the right call in the end in that one, actually, because it goes to a throw in for Eastleigh. And yes, now Eastleigh are beginning to emerge out of a bit of a shell shock, maybe, for the past 10 minutes or so, where I think conceding was part of that. Lloyd Humphreys has gone a bit deeper now as a centre back. A great long ball. Oh, and it's deflected off. It was a McGuckin chance. It was blocked. McGuckin's not there, and it's headed clear. But a second chance. They're very lucky in that one. Barrett is getting. It did not fall for that. Harper was trying to do something special, but it was a very good chance in some senses. Yeah, I think it. I mean, you must say Walsall since half time have just looked more together, more organised, more dominant. They're just everything about them has just been much better in this second half. They seem a much better side altogether, and that is why they're now 2-0 up. Certainly a game of two halves. Awuka is down in a bit of pain at the moment. And I think you think he was looking for something. I don't know, the referee's not buying whatever it is. And it's raining again, or still. It's getting a bit slippy at this point. I think it might be a drop ball situation. And maybe a substitute going on at this point. I can't quite tell. It is a drop ball situation, which the goalkeeper for Eastleigh will take. Townsend. Which he's just gone and picked up. That's absolutely ridiculous. What the purpose of that was is beyond me. He's pinged that really. That is a long goal kick. I do love a goalie who can kick a fair distance, and he's one of them. Working my way. But sure, he was being lifted up there. It was a person who was brought in as a substitute, Skinner, I think it was. It was just being lifted up, and nothing given on that one. Lakin coming through, leaving it off for Harper, who's crossed it in, but no one there. Back to Harper it goes, into Carnu. Carnu's trying to cross it, but this time it's Humphreys to deal with, who clears it downfield. McGuckin's going to... Oh, he's almost got there. Is that a foul by Aidan Flint? He's gone down in a bit of agony there, McGuckin. If you've left something trailing on there, that is going to be a definite free kick. McGuckin's tried to get that. Flint has... I don't know if there's anything there, to be honest. McGuckin has done well in a sense in terms of his positioning and speed, but it's a corner. It is a corner for Eastleigh, which provides a bit of life to the home supporters and a bit of a lifeline, maybe, for the Spitfires. This will get the crowd up, wouldn't it, if they scored here? 4 corners apiece. And corners definitely a chance to make something happen in this one. Um, it's headed away initially by Walsall, but Skinner's gone for it, and it's collected quite comfortably in the end by Miles. But yeah, I think he's 36 for goalkeeper. Yeah, for the first FA Cup campaign was in 2011-12. A long time now. That's a poor pass, and Charlie Lakin's running away with it to Weir. Back to Lakin, who's been much more involved in this second half. Weir, Presley rather, sorry, it was Presley who was the person involved with that, and just gets the wrong side of the post. Very, very much so. Yeah, Presley to Lakin, Lakin back to Presley, and he's just dragged that wide. He was trying to get it to the far post. I don't mind that. It wasn't a bad opportunity. And I think Humphreys was a bit of a barrier, maybe, to putting it the near side. But yeah, he certainly. We're almost at the 70th minute, 20 minutes to go. Bit of a tussle going on in midfield there, which has resulted in it's an advantage played to Walsall. But yeah, I don't think that was a great challenge. A crossfield punch for Brindley. Brindley laid it off to Awuka, I think it was, and he's just over that into a throw into Walsall. It's going to be some substitutes time for Walsall, as a couple of players seem to be coming on. No, I think they're more concerned about maybe preserving themselves for the next league game, potentially. Presley is coming off, and they are in a strong position. So, yeah, he's done his job. And that can be said. He's been replaced by the 36-year-old Jamil Matt, who is very, very experienced. Probably can't get through a whole game at this point, but you wouldn't blame him too much on this one. Who's the other player coming off is Courtney Clark for Jealous. Courtney Clark, another very strong performance. Jamie Jealous is taking on Courtney Clark, just so that we can continue the alliteration of players. You wouldn't want to remove that from the club, would you? So it's going to be a free kick, which the referee's going to make sure is in the right position to be taken from, which it was not going to be initially, to say the least. So a long strike. It's eventually ended up all the way back to the goalkeeper all over again. A long one, mid left, can't find his man again. A lot of the defenders are pushing quite high up for Eastleigh, which is a bit of a risk, maybe. That is tumbling over Skinner, but he's not managed to get a foul from that. Again, relishing maybe opportunity. Humphreys in a real battle here. He can't lose this because he's the last man, and he can't go down because it's in the penalty area. And somehow he's managed to win it. Excellent work there, and he's just lumped that downfield. Kanu was proper tussling in there. Well done, Lloyd Humphreys, is I suppose the way to say that, because he's been immense for Eastleigh today, hasn't he? Really strong performance from the bold man. But yeah, he could have so easily lost out in that one. Um, yeah, he's fought for everything this game, absolutely everything. Um, it will be a free kick by looks of it from Aidan Flint. I didn't quite see what happened there because they were watching the replay of a tussle, and it goes all the way out for a Eastleigh throw in. Very poor one done by Aidan Flint there. Maybe losing his touch for Welshman, maybe just a bit. But he seems to be in a lot of the Welsh clubs in his history. Aaron Pierre with the ball here. I think it is. Or is it a Wooka? It's a Wooka. Humphreys now out to Aaron Pierre, who has just dummied a long pass there quite well, and instead opted for the switch. Wooka passing it down there. Can't quite make most of that Skinner. It's not Skinner, someone else. They're all lining up here. Number 17 tries to chip it round, but there's no one there. Awuka has battled well there. Humphreys coming forward, doing a couple of overlaps, out to Awuka, who's in a very attacking place on the line and edge of the line of perimeter, and Lakins conceded a throw-in, which not throw a free kick. There was a slight touch there. I think it was a bit soft, maybe. Lakin was dangling a leg, but he's giving them an opportunity. Eastleigh on 62% possession and Walsall on 38%, but we know that Walsall love to perform when they have less possession. Evans is over this, as is Harris. It will be quite bad if Walsall concede here. There's a lot of organising going on. Whipped in. But yeah, okay. I don't know. Was that a? I don't think the whistle hadn't gone at that point, and I think Eastleigh can maybe be a bit relieved because they've got a much better second free kick with Skinner, Humphreys there. Humphreys passing it out wide, knocked in by that was almost quite, and it's gone out for a corner. It was a lovely bit of thing. Weird dived into save really at that point. That was a very dangerous drilled in across the face of the goal in a sense. It was a dangerous cross by, it wasn't Evans, it was Harris, I think. Evans on it now, but loses possession. We have Jamil Matt. Lloyd Humphreys again doing some great work. Eastleigh into the penalty area, down low near side, but was a great save. Rico Brown was the one who lost possession in that sense, and it was almost a stunning goal in that one. I don't understand why the ball was so cheap to dispossessed by Rico Henry. They just need to clear it. It's going to be another corner by taken by Evans here. It goes all the way through, headed behind for what will be another corner by Barrett Brown. No, it's Brown again. Rico Brown, I don't think it's been that great of late in these last few moments. Harris to take this one into the sun. He takes it short, probably for the best. Whipped, punched over. Comes out to Harris again. Evans got it. He goes long over, headed away again by Rico. Oh, that's poor. It will be a 1v1 with the goalkeeper. It's really hard to see, and it is a goal by who is it who scored that? Jamil Matt. Yeah, Jamil Matt wraps that up. It was right into the sun. I couldn't see a thing. All I could tell was a Walsall player was just running onto it. It was a 1v1, and Jamil Matt ensures that Walsall are almost definitely now going to be into the next round. He is also the captain, the very hugely experienced man. It's Eastleigh 0, Walsall 3, which I think is... Brinley was the one who really should have done better there. He's missed the kick, makes no contact, and as soon as that happens, Matt comes on rushing, and he's just has to run half the length of the pitch for a 1v1. And he doesn't seem to have lost a single bit of pace in his 37 years old of age, and he's just slotted that home as cool as you like. He's just absolute. It's a shame for Eastleigh on that one, and the scoreline certainly doesn't represent the whole game, but Walsall have been much better in this second half. I think that's fair to say. Apparently, that is his 141st goal, only the second goal of the season. After scoring for Kidderminster Harriers, was his first team. But yeah, it's a throw in for Walsall in their own half. Unfortunately, the Sun's in a really annoying position now that you can't really see a great deal when it ends up going into the Eastleigh half. Lakin has it. The Eastleigh goalkeeper clears it. It's headed up by Matt, I believe. It's on the far side. Right into the sun. I can't see about half the players because of the sun. I'm glad there's only 10 minutes left because that sun is absolutely blinding me through that screen. It's got all the sort of colours, the greens, the reds, but it makes it really hard to see. Wooker, I think it is, with it. To Lloyd Humphreys. I can tell when it's Lloyd Humphreys because he's bold. Which is normally quite easy to tell if he's the only bold player on the pitch. Slows down a bit by Harris, who's got a throw in quite a dangerous position. So it goes long. Easy enough to defend, but it's going to be a cross this time. Again with Harris. He's gone across, diving header. I think it was Weir for that one. Can Eastleigh just drag back a consolation one? It was Aidan Flint who went flying in, and there was a flying tackle there by the Spitfires. Okay. I know I normally do a fair few puns in these ones, but sometimes it just drops like a stone. Yeah, a couple more changes for Walsall underway. Our second ball player of the day is coming on, but thankfully for Walsall, so I won't get confused between the two. But Walsall are deciding to hold off them changes from the now. And pace, so advantage played. An amazing run here by, can't tell who it was. It was some number 17, I think it was. And it's gone out for a throw in for Eastleigh. Very competent run indeed. Perhaps a long throw here would be, I think it was Lundstrom with that long run. He's done a lot of them this game. them long runs. Um, the long throw, I think, might be a decent one. They're going to make the changes now, Walsall. Um, Albert Adoma is coming on with 7 minutes. Not what they really want, to be honest, Walsall. I wouldn't suggest that that'd be what they want. Daniel Carnu is going off, who has been one of the better players today. Albert Adoma really reaching twilight years of play. Comley's coming off as well for Finnegan. Comley, I think, has been quite quiet today. But yeah, Ryan Finnegan is the other change. Eastleigh will just be trying to see something in this one, and they Walsall now have it. It will be a 1v1. Albert Adoma's first piece of activity in this one, but there's a lot of defensive playing. Albert Adoma does not have a pace that he used to. Charlie Lakin pulling his shirt all over the place. It should be a free kick, and Humphreys is absolutely fuming, but it was a tug of a shirt. It's definitely a free kick. I don't think you can complain too much about that one. You were literally pulling Albert Adoma's shirt so he can't move. So, you know, Albert Adoma is he the one who's taking it? I think I'm most known for Middlesbrough, but I think he did also play maybe for Stoke at one point. He's been around the block a while now. No, it's not a owner, and it's whoever it was just attempted it and just it was Weir, who yes has been outstanding, but that free kick was a bit of a waste of a one. Was too much on the power on it. I think he has been given the man of the match by way Evan Weir, which I mean I think I agree with it. I think I do agree with that. He's been excellent. Lakin kicking it up, but I don't think there's time to kick it up, to be honest. And Eastleigh are now going to be pouring into the box, but they're being crowded out a bit by Walsall at the moment. And Lakin manages to come away with it. Pushing on. Weir on this one. Albert Adoma with a chance, but it goes wide. It was offside, I believe, onto Albert Adoma. Yeah, as clear as day, offside there. No complaints for me on that one. You'd think someone experienced as that much would be holding off his run a bit more, but clearly not. Need a bit of communication there, I think, Walsall. Or maybe Weir's just doing a bit too much. So throw in, just tap the ball off Albert Adoma there, which, I don't mind that. In the slightest. We're back into the sun's end. 5 minutes or 3 minutes rather to go, and it'll probably be 5 minutes with a couple of minutes extra time. It's Lundstrom who has passed it back into the defensive half and back into the sun again. Humphreys has it. Nice long ball there. Can Saunders do something with this? It's a right tussle, and Saunders come away with it, and there's a head injury as well. Rico Brown was the one with that. I don't know if that'll be a foul or not. It was a right old tussle between the two. Eastleigh are going to make a switch. Not only have they been switching to be back-to-back three, because they also went briefly to back four to try and take on the opportunities. But yeah, late double change for Eastleigh. Maybe just to, get some youngsters to say they've been in the FA Cup first round, Aaron Pierre is coming off for Fernandez, and Saunders is coming up for Wario. That's a really annoying name that's going to be saying, so at least I don't have to say it for too long. But Louis Fernandez, he's been quite impressive. He's has experience with Stevenage before, and apparently focuses in game on Vidic and Terry. John Terry, that is. If he's anything like that, got some player on their hands. Albert Adoma passing it in field into the Sun. Now Aidan Flint. Where? Albert Adoma. Lakin passing it out wide to Brown. So there's been 90 minutes now, I think. Flint is trying to claim that for a throw-in. I think he's been given it. So, I mean, it's a bit of a cliche to say something's a proper FA Cup tie, but, you know, when you have a non-league versus league, that is, for me, a proper FA Cup tie. A lot of aerial ping-pong tennis at the moment, as you would expect. Eastleigh got a throw in here. Can they get something going in the final bits of it? I don't think Eastleigh are necessarily going to get promotion, but maybe they're going to be trying it. Or Skinner couldn't quite deal with that, and just a little bit too much pace on it. He was getting there. It's 4 minutes of extra time. Some of the crowds are starting leaving now. By the way, Eastleigh have a better financial budget and backing than some League Two clubs, so they should really be doing quite well. So it's a bit of a disappointment maybe that they're not. Well, that's a horrendous pun that was just said on the BBC coverage, which I will not repeat. Final minutes here. We've got 3 minutes. And Walsall booking themselves next round. But they'll find out who their opponents are tomorrow evening. I probably won't do a live watch along for that, but it'll be interesting to see who they do get. I'm hoping either a Buxton, a Burton, or a Chesterfield are drawing up against Gateshead up here. I can go and see them. Unfortunately, South Shields got knocked out earlier against Shrewsbury Town 3-1. We'll go through some of the Premier League results at the end as well, because some of them games might be coming to an end at that point. Skinner trying to hold off the attack of Matt Jarvis. That's two different players, isn't it? It's Jarvis Jealous and Matt. Or John, I can't remember. Anyway, Eastleigh coming forward for a final foray. Skinner it is with a high shot which just goes over the bar. A decent attempt there from the youngster, but it was no troubling Miles Roberts from that distance. It just goes over the bar. Well, Walsall, you'd say, arguably in the second half has been much more comfortable. 1.5 minutes left to go. Be a shame if Eastleigh doesn't get one. There's been 11 attempts at Eastleigh, 14 for Walsall. The scoreline definitely doesn't tell the full picture of this game, because 5 shots Eastleigh had on target compared to Walsall's 4 have arguably been a better team. Slightly informed their XG maybe as well. Running forward is Evans, Maybe they might get something here in the dying moments. McDucky, my mouth is going at this point. Albert Doma has it. Yeah, Eastleigh couldn't manage something. Luke Humphreys will be challenging against Albert Doma. Does win that fairly easily. He was ahead of him and will obviously have pace being younger. I think Albert Doma was really going down looking for a foul, which just wasn't there. I think since Humphrey's been all over the place. He's a centre back, a defensive midfielder, and a central midfielder, all at all times in this game. He's been in all three different positions. It is a good question they're posing. How many games have the top two had together? Apparently, it's over 1,000 career appearances between Albert Adoma and Jamil Matt. And it's one of them things, isn't it? They're some proper veterans of a football league. And that is full time, I believe. Yep, that is full time at Silverlands, Silver Lakes rather. Silverlands is where Buxton play. Plenty of opportunities for Eastleigh, but didn't convert a single one. Bit disappointing for the non-league team, but alas, not too surprising. Walsall, the league team, win 3-0 in the end. Very decent. Let's look at some of the other scores on the doors around at the moment. Port Vale are currently beating Morden Tiptree 4-1, so there's not going to be an upset in that one. Games between playing Acton Stanley tonight and Shrewsbury Town beat South Shields 3-1. Not a lot of upsets so far. Maybe Acton Stanley could be the first to succumb to an upset in today's games. 3-1 to West Ham in the Premier League kick-off. Manchester City versus Bournemouth will be in the Premier League kicking off at 4:30. In the Scottish League Cup semi-finals, in the Old Firm derby, Celtic are leading Rangers in extra time 2-1, 103 minutes in there. Both of them two teams are not doing great, it would seem, in regards to their respective league positions, both being behind Hearts of Midlothian. And with the Scottish League Cup, they are they'll be facing St Mirren, who won 4-1 against Motherwell. Be interested to see if St Mirren wins that. I very much doubt they will, but it would be a very interesting game. I don't know if they've been recently that far in the cup competition at all. Let's go through some Sofa Score ratings before we end today. It's a 6.19 for Eastleigh, which I think is fair considering the scoreline, but it doesn't tell the full picture. 5.4 for Townsend, worst player on the pitch. Certainly could have prevented a lot of them goals. He's not. He's made one save inside the box. That was it. One save all game. 6 recoveries, 1 clearance. But for your goalkeeper, you need to be making some better saves. He's not been where he should be at all. 5.7 for Archie Harris. Very defensively left in this one, but has been very poor defensive wise. Only 1 tackle attempted, didn't win it. 2 interceptions, 5 clearances, 6 recoveries. 2 out of 4 ground rules he attempted, he won, and 2 out of 4 aerial rules he won and gave away 1 foul. That isn't what you expect for a player across the 49 minutes on a team which lost 3-0. Aaron Pierre, 6.3, taken off in the 88th minute. Dribbling wise, been quite decent. Has actually gone for it. He had 62 touches, 1 unsuccessful touch, and was fouled once. In terms of defending, had 1 tackle attempted, didn't succeed in it. 1 interception, 4 clearances, 2 block shots, 2 recoveries, 2 out of 4 ground duels he attempted, he won. 2 out of 6 aerial duels he won. I think there was improvement, but he sort of kept the deficit down in the first half, which you can't put too much blame on him. He did also have an attempt, goal he missed a header quite far past the post in the end, actually. But he was certainly an attempt of a shot. 6.1 for a weaker, slightly improved in the second half, but his shooting was pretty poor. He shot in the 19th minute. He missed that one. In terms of defensive wise, for defender, I wasn't that impressed. 1 interception, 7 clearance, 1 block shot, 4 recoveries, 2 out of 4 ground duels he won, 3 out of 6 aerial duels he won. Was fouled once, was dribbled past once. 6.6 for Luke Humphreys, the best player for. Well, I'll go second best player. We'll go to the best player in a minute, but for Eastleigh, second best player was for me Lloyd Humphreys. He was everywhere, literally everywhere. All in the defensive half and even some in the attacking half as well. Everything he did, he was just involved with. Passing wise, absolutely 2 key passes. 41 out of the 57 passes he made was accurate. Sorry about that. 13 out of the 27 passes in his opposition half were accurate. In his own half, 28 out of the 30 passes were accurate, so that's 93%, very decent. 1 out of the 10 long balls he made was accurate. It was looking good at the first half, but then he just couldn't quite get it in the same way. Dribbling also quite well, 78 touches in the game, 3 unsuccessful touches, 2 fouls, lost possession 22 times. But that's because he was right in a tussle, I suppose. Defensive wise, I think he could have improved. I think that is an area he can improve. 2 out of the 4 tackles he made, did he win? 2 interceptions, 1 clearance, 6 recoveries, 6 out of 9 ground duels he won. 2 out of 3 aerial duels he won, 1 foul. But he certainly was one of them ones which I think he was battling. He was the best of the defence, certainly, and certainly one of the better players wherever he popped up. 6.1 for Brindley. Wasn't impressed with him either. He was just so quiet. Defensive-wise, again, he did win 2 tackles, but that was all he attempted. 1 interception, 3 clearances, 1 recoveries. 3 out of 3 ground duels he won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels he won. But again, he should have been got involved much more than he did. 6.4 for Jake Vokins, hardly appeared at all. He was just sort of not there, I'm going to be honest. 1 interception, 1 recovery, 1 aerial duel one, and 1 ground duel one. Just not in the game at all. 6.3 for Josh Lundstrom, who had a couple of mazy runs, but that was about it. Defensively, he could have slightly improved. Only 3 clearances, 5 recoveries, 2 aerial duels out of 3 he won, and 2 out of the 3 ground duels he won. He was very much involved in the transition between defence and attack. 5.9 for Harvey Saunders. He didn't do a lot. His shooting record was not great. He had 3 shots. 1 was saved. 1 missed. And the other was saved. So he had 3 in total. 3 shots, and 2 of them were on target. And he did miss a pretty big chance, which you don't really want for one of your more attacking players. And he was one of the 2 attacking players. He was the one which I kept on forgetting the name of during the game. Dribbling-wise, 23 touches, 2 unsuccessful touches, 1 successful dribble, 1 foul, and lost possession 11 times. He was very much sort of he was the small in the big and small, and he couldn't quite make things happen as I would expect. 6.3 for Mgukin, very fast player, but very much wasn't in it. He's only had 2 shots, 1 on target and 1 was blocked. And in terms of that, you do want your sort of players to, in that regard, do a bit better. I mean, dribbling, again, he only had 15 touches all game. 1 unsuccessful touch, 2 successful dribbles, though, 6 times lost possession. You just want him to retain a bit more possession. The substitutes, though, for me, Kieran Evans was the best player that Eastleigh had. He was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Even when I wasn't mentioning him, he was everywhere. He's one of them ones that just absolutely fly under the radar. In terms of his dribbling was probably his best attribute in terms of a social score. 37 touches, 5 unsuccessful touches, 1 successful dribble. Well, 1 dribble wasn't successful. Was fouled 4 times, lost possession 15 times. But it was just sort of everywhere he went, it was just popping up, doing various things, just making things happen. Luke Skinner got a 6.3. He did make an impact. I will give him that. He had 1 shot which he missed down low to the right. But it was very attacking in that sense. Much more attacking than Vokins was. He just unfortunately couldn't quite make things work. In terms of in Walsall, we had the goalkeeper 7.3 Miles Roberts. Again, just skew the stats a bit when you're up against a National League side, but he did make a good, fair, decent amount of saves. 5 saves in the end, 3 saves inside the box, 1 successful run out, 1 eye claim, but he did have 1 error leading to a shot. He was also fairly decent in distribution. 5 out of 20 of his passes were accurate. 5 out of the 18 passes were in the opposition half in the end, and 5 out of 20 long balls found their person. Which, okay, not great, but it wasn't horrendous. 7.2 for Rico Brown. Got much more combative towards the end of the game in that defensive positioning. His defending, I think, was decent. He won the 2 tackles he attempted, at 11 clearances, 2 recoveries, 3 out of 7 the ground tools he won, 3 out of 4 aerial tools he won, 1 foul. It was also fairly decent with the distribution under pressure as well. 18 out of 25 passes were accurate. 8 out of the 13 passes were accurate in his own half. 10 out of the 12 passes, sorry, it might have been his half, and then this one 10 out of 12 in his own half. Found my person. 2 out of 6 long balls were successful as well. Very combative. Aidan Flint, 7.2. Very Mr. Dependable. Very much did the sweeping up. And his defensive, he won 1 tackle, 17 clearances, 3 recoveries, 1 is 1 ground jewel, 1 3 out of 4 aerial jewels he attempted. You know, he's a dependable player. My man of the match and also BBC's man of the match was Evan Weir on an 8.8. Very decent indeed. All his attributes were perfect. His shooting was great. He had 4 shots. 5 shots rather in total. He had 1 goal. He had 1 shot on target. He hit the woodwork once. He was just he had a bit of he was just attempting. You know, he may have missed 3, but he hit the post on 1 and scored a goal with another. You know, certainly in that first half, he looked unstoppable, and the confidence was clearly with him in that regard. His passing was even better. He had 1 assist, 2 key passes, 2 out of the 4 accurate crosses, 15 out of 21 accurate passes, 12 out of 20 passes in his opposition half. All of the passes in his own half, which was only 5 actually for a wing back, was found a person. 4 out of 9 of his long balls were great as well. His defending was decent for when he needed it. 1 interception, 13 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 recovery, 1 of his only aerial duel he won. Absolutely great. 8.8, fantastic play all round from Evan Weir. 6.9 for Connor Barrett. I thought he was quite quiet in that game. His passing was really his main attribute. He had 1 key pass, had 1 accurate cross out the one he attempted. Half of his passes were accurate at 8 out of 16. For the passes in the opposition half, 6 out of the 13 were accurate. Passes in his own half, 3 out of the 4 were accurate. Charlie Lakin on a 6.4 did lose possession a few times, but did also seem to recover possession quite well as well. His passing was... He had 2 key passes, which must be talked about, which good through balls, I suppose. He had 3 crosses, but none of them found anybody. 22 out of 31 passes he made were accurate. 14 out of 22 passes in his own half were accurate. 8 out in his opposition half, 8 out of 12 passes in his own half was accurate. 1 out of 3 long balls were accurate. In terms of defending, he had 1 clearance, 9 recoveries, didn't win any with 3 aerial duels or ground duels, and had 3 fouls. 6.8 for Comley. Brendan Comley, again, a very quiet game from the player. Maybe slightly better in the passing and defending. 20 out of 25 passes were accurate for him. 11 out of 12 of them in his own half were accurate, and 9 out of 13 passes in the opposition half were accurate, and a key pass as well at that. Defensively, he did all right. He won his 1 tackle. He made 5 clearances, 5 recoveries, 2 out of 4 ground duels, 1 and 2 fouls. 7.6 for Courtney Clark, another very speedy, very great player. Certainly looked physical at times and always impressed me. His shooting was a bit off today. He only had 1 shot which he missed over the bar. In terms of his passing was his real thing. He sort of assisted once. He had 1 big chance created, 2 key passes, 2 accurate crosses at 6. He attempted 12 out of 16 passes were accurate. 7 out of 14 passes in the opposition half were accurate. 7 out of 8 passes in his own half were accurate. And he was also decent at dribbling, 33 touches. 1 successful touch was fouled 1 time and lost position 11 times. Defending probably was all right. One of the tackles. You don't expect it was an attacking outlet, but 1 interception, 2 clearances, 6 recoveries, 2 out of 4 ground duels, 1, 3 out of 4 aerial duels, 1, and 1 foul. 6.9 for Vincent Harper. Very much your typical winger at this position. He was sort of very basic, wasn't much in it. 6.5 for Presley, 6.4 for Presley, rather. Didn't really impress the SofaScore people. I thought he was much better than that. I think his shooting was a bit off. He missed once, and he was one of the attacking players. Presumably because he didn't take as many shots as maybe he could have. And I think that does display a bit of bias in that one. 7.4 rather for Daniel Carnu. It was very decent. He scored a goal, of course. And he was substituted for Albert Adoma, but yeah, he was very good. He had 4 total shots. Only 1 of them were actually on target for goal. 2 of them were blocked, though, and he had 1 offside. So, yeah, he was a very decent player, Daniel Carnu. Can't complain too much about him. Jamie Jealous on a 6.8. Was a bit sparse at times, it could be said, but he had a very small sample size, and when he did come on, he had 1 assist, 1 big chance created, and 1 key pass. So was very much influential in building up in the build-up play. Jamil Matt on a 7.9. You can understand why. He came on and made an instant impact. He scored a goal with his only shot, admittedly, but it was a very fast break and did a very good job on that one. His dribbling was also second to none, 10 touches, 2 unsuccessful touches, and 5 times he lost possession. But yeah, very much a decent one. 6.7 by Ryan Finnegan. Didn't notice him too much when he came on. I don't recall really saying his name. I think he only had 1 touch all game. You can't really break stats down like that. But defensively, guys, he won 1 tackle he made and 1 out of 2 ground balls he attempted. He won. Albert Adoma on a 6.5. I think just because of his name, people were waxing, or I was waxing a bit more lyrical about him. He was offside once and probably wasn't actually that good in the end. Anyway, I hope you very much enjoyed. Please do subscribe if you're new around here. Let me know. Do you want to see me continuing to do this? I probably should have put the light on before. I didn't realise how dark it gets at 4:30 nowadays. But I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.